Hi, thanks for joining us for Devotionables, brief devotions for busy people. My name is Gabriel. Today we are in 2 Kings chapter 2. For some reason, I want to say Genesis chapter 2. We've come a long way since Genesis in our F260 Bible reading plan. And the Bible is just beautiful. It's interesting. And I don't know, I don't know how people think it's boring because we get into 2 Kings 2, and it's a phenomenal story. It's the story of the baton being passed from the prophet par excellence, Elijah, to his protege, Elisha. And God is at work. And so a couple things I want us to notice is first, just God's providential preparation, his gift, that he's in control. And I see this in a couple ways. So first, we see that by the end of the chapter here, or two-thirds through, right, that Elijah is going to be taken up into heaven, that God is going to swoop him up. And it's phenomenal. What sticks out to me is like God, again, almost like these bookends to Elijah's life, where you remember in 1 Kings 18, there's this confrontation with the prophets of Baal. And Elijah just slaughters them after they are unable, because Baal's not real, right? He can't do anything. God is sovereign. God rules and reigns over all things, and he is Israel's God. And after this amazing event, and the prophets of Baal slaughtered, then you remember that evil, wicked Jezebel says, Elijah, I'm going to kill you. And it sends Elijah into like this funk, this depression. He runs away. The Lord ministers to him deeply as he needed. And he prophesies that actually it's going to be Ahab, it's going to be Jezebel that die. They're going to die in a very specific way. And once again, it is the word of the Lord that comes true, not the word of this wicked Jezebel. Elijah's not going to die. Elijah's times are in God's hands. And in fact, just like Enoch, who walked with God and was no more in Genesis chapter 5, Elijah is just, I'm taking you home with me today. Not by the word of some wicked Jezebel, but by the sovereign king. Before Elijah is taken up, we see him preparing, pouring into these other prophets. In fact, the number that is given is 50. And that should ring alarm bells, because now in F260 Bible reading plan, we did not read chapter 1 of 2 Kings. But if you will go ahead to read it, you'll see that there's this delegation after Elijah, again, confronts a king. And he sends this delegation of 50 folks after him. 3 times, 50, right? And then here, there's 50 that Elijah's pouring into, these prophets. And it reminds me of just God's good, gracious provision, right? Multiple times Elijah has said to the Lord, I'm the only one left. I'm the only one left. And it was not like God has a remnant. God is in his power, this is not to take away from Elijah. Praise God for Elijah. Like I said earlier, he's the prophet par excellence. He is the premier prophet, really, definitely since Moses, and on par with Moses. As you remember at the Transfiguration, who shows up on the mountain with King Jesus? It's Moses and Elijah. And they talk about his departure, but it's all about God, isn't it? As great as Elijah's ministry was, he's just a vessel. Just like you and I, we're just vessels, and sometimes we can feel like we're all alone. But it's the Lord who's at work, and he's providing, and it's his word that will always stand, not the wicked, not even it's the Lord's work. And so he's preparing for Elijah's departure to have his word in the prophets in Israel, and it's a beautiful thing. And it also, as he's about to leave, just the importance of you think about your time, whenever the Lord will call you home. It's easy for us to get bucket lists, things I want to do before I die. And Elijah knew his time was coming, and was pouring into others for the glory of God and for the future work to go on. And maybe I think there's something there we can learn from as well. Like, you don't know what kind of days you have left, but pour into your family, pour into other folks in discipleship. Be discipled and be discipling others. And that's true work of God right there. And it's never dependent on us. It's all about Him. God's blessings on you today from a phenomenal chapter in the Bible, 2 Kings chapter 2. I hope you're encouraged, and God's blessings on you.